Welcome to another episode of Codo Cinema, the podcast show where I talk about movies. I'm your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Codo, aka Codo Man. Well, before I jump into today's film, this film's going to be more of an update. I made it all the way to 50 episodes, folks. Yeah, sounds exciting, right? Today's the 50th episode of Codo Cinema. That means Codo Cinema is celebrating 50 episodes of movie talking, whether it's top 10, talking about actors, behind-the-scenes stories, among many other topics for movie-related stuff. So, yay! Codo Cinema is celebrating 50 episodes of movies. Sounds good. So, what movie am I going to talk about today? Well, as I mentioned, this one's going to be more of an update. And what movie update I'm going to give to you guys? Well, how about the upcoming superhero film that is coming to HBO Max in March? And that movie will be Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's right, folks. The upcoming Justice League film, and that is a film I'm going to talk about. And we will soon see the superhero film that many fans have been asking for since the theatrical release of 2017's Justice League. But this time, we will be seeing a full-on director's cut of the Justice League film, which is being directed by Zack Snyder. Now I know you guys are probably gonna be saying, well, isn't Justice League gonna be dark? I mean, isn't that the thing that Zack Snyder does in most of his movies? Bring in a dark tone to the DC extending universe? Well, true, yeah. I mean, yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but other times it could be in between. But for Justice League, it's gonna be something. And from the recent trailer that we received last week on Valentine's Day, it's definitely something. I mean, it could be a surprise. So yeah, especially the original teaser trailer that came out in August of, was it August? Yeah, I think it was August. It was of August of 2020 where the teaser trailer for Justice League came out, and it was mind-blowing. I mean, we were blown away by the new materials and scenes and well-done visual effects and that we are seeing in the new Justice League film. Or should I say the director's cut of Justice League. So anyway, the director's cut of Justice League came into action prior to the release of 2017's Justice League, where the film wasn't well received with critics nor at the box office. Now, the original Justice League, the theatrical one that came out in 2017, was directed by Zack Snyder, but unfortunately, he was replaced by Joss Whedon, who took over post-productions while doing extensive reshoots. So technically, the original 2017 Justice League film was still Zack Snyder's, but it felt more like a Joss Whedon and Warner Brothers film. So in that case, many critics went as far as to call the theatrical film of Justice League, the one that came out in 2017, as a Frankenstein film because there were two different directors with two different visions combined into one that muddles the plot and tone. And that is definitely a thing that happens in some movies. Sometimes you get two different directors directing one film. It could work. There are definitely some films that can actually have two different directors. I mean, Anthony and Joe Russo have directed the Captain America 2 and 3, including Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, but the difference is that they were both brothers, so they knew what vision to bring onto the screen. But unfortunately for Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder, they both had two different visions. I mean, it definitely detracts the tone and plot of the film. Both visions can work, but they had to find that certain balance. And I know it sounds like I'm going off topic, but it's definitely true. I mean, that's what happened with the 2017 Justice League film. Now, to be fair, I mean, it wasn't all bad. I mean, there were definitely moments in the 2017 Justice League film that I actually kind of liked. mainly the action sequences were pretty good. I mean, I thought some of the acting was decent. I thought some of the acting was decent, particularly from Jason Momoa's Aquaman. I still love Gal Gadot, of who played Wonder Woman in this film. Was still pretty good, and Ray Fisher as Cyborg. Hey, that was definitely a welcome addition. But the problem is, it was the writing of the film. The writing was so off. I mean, you could definitely tell what scenes were reshot or rewritten, mainly on Batman's part. I mean, no disrespect to Ben Affleck. I think he did a pretty good job as Batman. But it was the writing. The writing itself was, I don't know how to say this. And don't get me started on the mustache issue in the Justice League film. So anyway, I mean, I know this should be more of an update, but hey, a little bit of brief history, a little history of how that film went down. So here's the reason why the original 2017 Justice League film went down to be one of the biggest disappointments of all time. So here are a few things. Number one, Zack Snyder stepping down. Zack Snyder stepped down from directing duties during post-production in May 2017 because of a family tragedy, and it was his daughter. His daughter committed suicide, so he had to step down and wasn't able to return to post-production. Now, which definitely leads to the next reason. Now, hear me out. I mean, yes, this was definitely probably something important that Zack Snyder had to do, and it's definitely a hard pill to swallow. But sometimes family comes first, and that is definitely understandable. And my heart goes out to Zack Snyder and his family. My condolences. That is definitely sad. So anyway, I know it is definitely a reason, but here's one thing that also happened during the production of Justice League. Number two was Warner Brothers hiring Joss Whedon. Now, okay, this was still on the post-production side of Zack Snyder. Joss Whedon was brought on board during post-production after Zack Snyder stepped down. However, in July 2017, Joss Whedon ended up doing reshoots in accordance to Warner Brothers, including their executives. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Well, Joss Whedon was the Avengers guy. He directed the first two Avengers film, 2012's Avengers and 2015's Avengers Age of Ultron. So some people may be thinking, okay, maybe Joss Whedon knows what he's doing. He knows how to make a good superhero film. I mean, I could definitely see that. I mean, true, yeah, I could definitely see that. But the problem was, Joss Whedon was forced to do reshoots. I mean, he could take over post-production. I could definitely see him doing post-production. I mean, he could still get post-production credit, but somehow the studio wanted him to do reshoots, extensive reshoots. And this is a bad thing. Here's the thing. Here's what's bad about this part. They actually used Zack Snyder's daughter's suicide as a reason for him by getting fired. And no, Zack Snyder was not fired. He had to step down. I mean, this was like something that Warner Brothers actually pulled up prior to the film's release. Like, they actually used Zack Snyder's daughter's suicide as a way for him to get fired. No, that was something that was such a low blow to Zack Snyder. So that means Zack Snyder was stabbed in the back. And no, not because of that, but also because of what Warner Brothers just pulled up. And this was like after the release of Justice League, not during post-production, even though, yes, Zack Snyder did step down during post-production, but also the fact that Warner Brothers pulled this incident up to think that Warner Brothers just fires Zack Snyder. No, that was not the case. That was not the case at all. So anyway, going back to Joss Whedon. Now, Joss Whedon ended up reshooting almost the entirety of the film without the involvement of Zack Snyder. Now, Zack Snyder still retained the sole credit for directing, but the problem was about 80 to 85%, according to some sources, was reshoot under Joss Whedon's direction, with only about 10 to 20% of Zack Snyder's footage ending up in the final cut. And you could tell in the final cut of Justice League what scenes were reshot and rewritten. The final runtime of the film was 2 hours. Now, the original runtime, according to some sources, was about 2 hours and 50 minutes. That was like almost 3 hours. That's almost a 3-hour film. Kind of like Batman versus Superman. That film was almost 3 hours. I mean, heck, even the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit were like 3 hours, and I could get through those films pretty fine. But why not Justice League? I mean, I could get through a 2 hour and 50-minute film. I mean, I got through a 3-hour film for Avengers Endgame. Now, here's my next lead to the next step. Number 3, studio interference. Yes, you heard that right, folks. Warner Brothers did interfere with the Justice League film after the critical failure of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice and the 2016 Suicide Squad film. And yes, both films came out. Both Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman came out in 2016, about a year before the Justice League film. So Warner Brothers feared that they were going to have another failure because of the dark tone that Zack Snyder has brought onto these films. Now, to be fair, Zack Snyder didn't direct Suicide Squad. That was David Ayer. Batman vs. Superman, that was Zack Snyder directing. So Warner Brothers did not want another failure of a DC film from critics because of the dark tone. Now, which came to the decision to hire Joss Whedon to redo almost the entire film, which was full of plot holes and character developments that were important to the story. That now, because of the reshoots that Joss Whedon did, and how much the film was cut out, the film feels rushed and empty, and so many questions like what's going on in the film? Why aren't we filling those characters? Like, how do we know these characters? I mean, true, we know who Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and who am I missing? I said Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Wonder Woman, or Cyborg. I think I said something twice, but never mind. But anyway, yeah, we got to know these characters, but not really enough. I could see why Zack Snyder had it longer. Now, to be fair, I'll give the film points for trying. But I wish they would have done something similar like Marvel. Marvel, they were able to do solo films before their big team up, and in fact, that was the problem with the DCEU films, which was probably under Warner Brothers' orders, that these films were rushed. Many of these films were rushed. The same can be said with this Justice League film. It feels rushed. You want more reasons? Well, how about composer Tom Hokenberg, also known as Junkie XL? He was removed controversially after he was done completing the score. Let me repeat that again. Junkie XL was removed from the Justice League film after completing the score, and he was replaced by Danny Elfman as a last-minute replacement to write the score. Now, this one was during post-production. Why would you replace a film composer already done with the score for the film and being replaced during post-production by another composer? Now, no disrespect to Danny Elfman. I feel like Danny Elfman did a pretty good job with the score, but it didn't really match the tone of the film. I feel like Junkie XL would have knocked it out of the park, but no disrespect to Elfman. I feel like Danny Elfman being shoehorned in at the last minute was probably a bad idea from the point of view from Warner Brothers. Now, in fact, as I mentioned, Junkie XL was done with the score before being removed. And here's another reason why this film went down. Warner Brothers also forced the visual effects department to remove Henry Cavill's mustache. Henry Cavill played Superman, and that alone was obvious in the final cut. You could definitely tell in the final cut what scenes were reshot or re-edited or even rewritten. After the film failed with critics and the box office, fans petitioned Warner Bros. To release Zack Snyder's version of Justice League so that people could see his complete vision, particularly the plot holes, character development, rendered visual effects, and the overall spectacle of the film. Now, this is where the hashtag #ReleaseTheSnyderCut came into play. Now, I didn't think this would happen. I mean, normally director's cuts will take a lot of time. I mean, but believe me, there have been some films where some director's cuts takes a long time to make. Now, some director's cuts like The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings, they were able to release theirs probably about a year after their original film's release. Somehow, a few years later, in February 2020, Warner Bros. Announced that the Snyder Cut will indeed move forward, with Zack Snyder confirming in May of 2020 that the original cut of Justice League will be titled Zack Snyder's Justice League and will be streamed onto HBO Max on March 18th of this year, with complete visual effects, editing, score, and new material. As thus, the film has risen. The director's cut has risen. Yes, folks, the director's cut of Zack Snyder's Justice League has been risen, or awakened, I should say. In August of 2020, the teaser trailer for Justice League was released, and it blew everyone away. Many people noticed a huge difference between Zack Snyder's version and Joss Whedon's version. The teaser trailer included the song "Hallelujah" by Leonard Cohen. There was also promotional posters of the director's cut that includes "Fallen," "Risen," "Reborn." Now, to be fair, I don't know what that means, but I believe I know what it means. And I might say this correctly, but you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have different answers about this, but hey, I'm probably going to say it. It means fallen, risen, reborn. It means a film has fallen from grace due to differences and failed because of it. However, with many fans are eager and willing to see a new version of the film has risen from hopes of fans who want to see a different version, or should I say, the director's cut of the film. And now, a film has been reborn in a new light. I'm pretty sure I know I'm pretty sure you guys have different answers, but this is probably my answer. This means the Justice League has finally been reborn. It was a fallen film, and it now has risen from the ashes, and now has been reborn to a new light for many fans and audiences to see the vision of Zack Snyder's Justice League film. Flash forward to February 2021 of this year. Another trailer was released for Super Bowl 51 on February 7th, and this actually included the football scenes from Cyborg's vision in the Justice League film. The final trailer of Zack Snyder's Justice League was released on February 14th of this year. Many fans and critics rejoiced by the trailer. It was everything that we are willing to see in the upcoming film. We got to see a new design of Steppenwolf, Darkseid, epic action sequences, Superman's new suit, which is the black suit Superman suit, stunning visual effects, and of course, Jared Leto's Joker, which his quote, we live in a society has now become an internet meme. The final cut of the film for Zack Snyder's Justice League is 4 hours. Did you hear that? 4 hours. And just to give you an idea how surprising the runtime of the film is, 1963's Cleopatra, which is starring Elizabeth Taylor and directed by Joseph Mankiewicz, was a 6-hour film, but was trimmed down to a 4-hour film. That's how surprising that film is. Now, the question remains for the director's cut of Justice League. Will it be good? I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, the film itself definitely looks promising, but I mean, is it gonna be good? I mean, I'm pretty sure it might. I mean, many people might actually find this film to be superior or pretty good. I mean, or should I say, probably better than the theatrical release. Because if you think about it, this is probably something you want that people may want to see in this film, like plot holes being filled up. I mean, visual effects that looks good and rendered. I mean, listening to a good score. interacting with characters that we don't know while getting to know their backstory. Heck, even seeing the action sequences. This is probably something that we wanted to see. Although maybe some people may think the tone itself might still be dark, and I can understand that, but in fairness, this is probably something that fans have probably been waiting. I mean, will I like the film? I might. Am I going to have a problem with the film? Well, there probably might be a couple problems with this film. But I would. But you never know. I mean, I might actually like it because you're gonna have to see it to believe it, and that's definitely something. I mean, I seen the original Justice League. I seen or should I say, the theatrical version of Justice League. I mean, it was more of a guilty pleasure, and I can understand the problems with that film. I mean, I did get through that film pretty well, but in the end, I mean, going back to that film, to the original Justice League film. I didn't think it didn't do well for me, but I can definitely see what this new version by Zack Snyder has done will probably look like. I mean, it definitely looked promising. The new Justice League looked promising, and I will tip my hat to Zack Snyder for going all out to giving the people what they want. A film from his vision that we can possibly see. Now, true. If it fails, well, I don't know. If it fails, I don't know. But if it actually succeeds, but hey, this might be promising. Something that that directors and studios should take to heart and listen to their fans. That's probably something. I mean, Paramount and Jeff Fowler listened to the fans who criticized the original design of Sonic the Hedgehog, and they actually took that criticism and decided to redesign Sonic, and that actually went pretty well in last year's Sonic the Hedgehog movie. For Justice League, it's definitely 50-50. I could definitely see this as a welcome addition to what a filmmaker should do. They should remember to listen to their fans. Give the fans and people what they want. That's probably something that should be taken to heart. Now, if there is one thing to say about seeing a film that is now being reborn and seeing a director's cut, there's probably a few words. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. This one's for the Justice League Snyder Cut, or should I say, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Here's to hoping that the Justice League Director's Cut will be good. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to go down, but here's to hoping that this film will succeed. Thank you for tuning in to Codo Cinema. I'm your host, Mark Codo, aka Codo Man. Remember to watch movies and stay positive.